Baptist Church in Cleveland. I bring you the word for the day from John chapter 21, verse 15. After Jesus' resurrection, Jesus meets with his disciples and he has breakfast with them and he's talking to them, and he specifically speaks to Peter. And he says, "Simon, son of Jonah, do you love me more than these?" Peter says, "Yes, Lord. You know that I love you. Then feed my lambs." He goes on with this 3 times. And each time he's telling him, feed his sheep, take care of his sheep, feed his lambs. But Peter's kind of hurt on the 3rd occasion that Jesus keeps asking him this question. I'm sure to some degree that Peter is remembering that at Jesus' most vulnerable moment, and at his most vulnerable moment, where he had said to Jesus that all these may leave you, may desert you, but I will not. But in that moment, he did. He failed him. I'm sure that Peter perhaps is thinking that's why Jesus is asking him these questions. Now, some scholars have taken this and said this is the point where Jesus has restored Peter. I think Jesus had restored Peter way before then. But this is that moment where after his resurrection, Jesus knows that he's going to leave a new era, a new mission, a new charge is to take place with his disciples. We might ask, after Easter, what? Easter is the highest moment. Actually, that whole week, what we call Holy Week, last week, is the highest moment in the life of the church. The church is filled. Everybody comes to church on Easter. People go out to buy new outfits, and new clothes, new things, Easter baskets and all of that. And everybody shows up. It's one of those days in the life of the church, everybody shows up. Wall-to-wall people. And then when Easter and that Holy Week, and Holy Week is over, what then? What then? Resurrection is over. It's a high moment. What now? What is the charge? What is the work of the disciples? What is the charge of the church? Easter should remind us not only that Jesus was raised from the dead and all power was in his hand, it should also remind us that after he is resurrected, he gives his instruction for his disciples to go into all parts of the world. Feed my lambs, the little one. Feed my sheep, the big ones. Feeding in what way? Well, obviously, Jesus says, go teach my word, so the spiritual feeding. But Jesus' life reflected feeding them physically as well, tending to their physical and emotional needs. That is, it is the work of the church. We are to be reminded at every Easter, every Holy Week, every Resurrection Sunday, that after our work we are reminded that our work continues all the time in doing all that we can do to get God's word out to the whole world, to get God's food out, God's help to everyone. What are you going to do now that Easter is over? What are you as a disciple going to do? Jesus' words to Peter are to all of his disciples. Take care of my sheep and my lambs. Let that be a charge that we go forth into all the world with. As Jesus gave it to Peter, he gives it also to us. God bless you and God